Hello, hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Being and the Brand podcast. Today's guest is Leah Hacker. She's a licensed esthetician, makeup artist, and founder of Haven by Leah. It's a clean beauty brand built for sensitive skin and busy women. Her lightweight, breathable formulas are gentle enough to reactive skin, yet powerful enough to last all day, proving that you don't need heavy layers to look and feel your best. And Leah is actually also one of our current C2C members and founders. And so I'm super excited for the session because we're going to do a little bit of workshopping style, hot seat style session with Leah because she's making such amazing progress and we're looking at taking it to the next level. So welcome, Leah.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm always excited to talk to you.
Yeah,
I'm listen to your input.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because one of the reasons I was really excited to have you on the podcast, but also to workshop with you is because, you know, you're someone who has put in the first steps, like the most important steps that we always stress in C2C, which is you've surveyed your audience, you got some really juicy, great results, you analyzed your results, and then you applied it to this incredibly beautiful website that you built yourself. Like it went from night to day. Like you really you knew the steps and you did the steps and you were diligent about it and you got that website. How quickly did you turn around that website?
Oh, it was probably like 3 weeks, but it was staying up till 2 p.m., 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And so when all my kids were sleeping, that was really the only time I got.
So actually, I wanted to touch on that. So how many kids do you have for the audience?
I have two. I have an 8-year-old and a 14-month-old.
Oh my goodness. And how many hours do you have a week to work on this business right now?
If she takes a good hour out, I have that. And then at night, pretty much when everybody goes to bed.
Okay. So like,
I could work on it 2 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't work on Friday or Saturday.
So about 10, you would say?
Yeah, I would say that.
So it have been 10 hours, which actually we have a lot of founders in our community that are parents and parents also of young children, myself included, and they're making it work. Just like you're making it work on your 10 hours a week, right? When it adds up, it ends up being 40 hours a month. And if you multiply that by 12, you're looking at 480 hours that you're working on your business a year, which is, if you look at it that way, it's substantial. I know it always feels like you want it to be more, but it's substantial. And so walk me through real quick, just so we can set the stage. Walk me through, now you moved your website over, you updated all the messaging. The messaging is so dialed in now based off of working on a target customer, going through the survey results. Walk me through like conversion rate for the website right now on average.
Okay. So do you want the monthly or like the 90 days?
Let's look at both.
So my monthly is for the last 30 days was 333. But that was a drop off after my
But that's
launch,
traffic, right?
So the 90 days was 2,100.
So that's traffic, but what about conversion rate?
Oh, that's session over time. Yes. Okay, so 30 days was the 1.2%.
Okay.
90 days was 1.95%.
Okay. Great. Okay, so it's over 1%, which is good. We can always improve it and we can keep making slight tweaks, but we're at the point where it's at least over 1%, which is good. 1.95 is almost at 2, which is very good. And okay, and then your email, how big is your email list again?
Right at 300.
Okay, and then what's the open and like average open rate, average click-through rate?
One of them is from this morning, so it's not really.
Yeah, so that doesn't count. I wouldn't count that.
Yeah, but the average would probably be like 53 to 54%.
Wow. And then do you know what the click-through rate might be?
It was like 0.67%.
Okay, 0.6. Okay, so that definitely is a room for improvement. So that'll be a next step. We'll definitely look at the email flow I definitely want to, actually, you know what? Maybe I'm going to sign up for the email list so I can see. Either I'll
What
sign up for the email list, or you can just put the PDFs of the emails into a Google Doc and we can take a look at them.
Okay, you're saying right now?
No, not right now. We'll do it for
Okay.
inside C2C.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that I notice, if that's your metric, like you want the conversion rate to be, or the click-through rate rather, to be a little bit higher. So at least above 1%, if not 2%.
Okay.
We'll definitely look at that, your email flows. But for today, what I wanted to talk about was traffic. Because I know we reverse engineered what we want our sales numbers to be. What's your average open order now, or average order number?
So it ranges between $64 to $70.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so based off of our sales calculator, right now the biggest challenge or gap is the traffic that's coming into the site, right?
Mhm.
So the biggest issue is how do we grow the email list? How do we grow, your top of funnel? And then how do we grow the email list, and how do we grow the traffic? One of the things I wanted to look at was you put together this really nice doc with your survey results, which showed where do you usually discover new beauty brands. Right now, it's showing 25.8%, which is the highest number in this pie chart. It's showing that from a friend. Is that correct? Because it's hard to tell with the blue.
Yeah. So from a friend would be like I personally know them probably, or a friend recommended them.
Okay. So from a friend was the number one. And then the second most one was the red, which is Facebook. Okay, cool. So then from a friend, there's a few things we could do here. So there's one that's, I'd say, maybe a harder lift. Actually, I don't know. If you moved your site over to Shopify in 3 weeks, you might be able to do this easy peasy. But definitely having a referral program. Do you have that yet?
I do have it where it automatically sends them an email. If they refer a friend, they get so much off.
And how well are people taking advantage of that? None.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you sent any emails about it to your community?
No.
Okay.
So, I need to. I'm just testing it out.
Yeah. So I would do a little campaign about it. And I would do a campaign around maybe for this month of June, send out a couple of emails. Either we can do it this way, we create a little campaign around it and say, hey, did you know that we have a referral program where you get 10% off your order when you share this with a friend and they order, right? So you could do a campaign around it, or you can have a dedicated one email that you send every single month. Hey, did you know, by the way? Or you could put it in your section at the bottom. Actually, I like it that way more.
Like a homepage?
Yeah, so add it to your welcome sequence. Actually, add it to your post-purchase sequence. Add it to the bottom of your newsletter, too. So every time you send a newsletter, there's a section at the bottom saying, hey, you get the title or the subject line should say, in this section should say 10% off when you share with a friend. So super clear letters, and then put it in the post-purchase sequence. So let me make a note of that so I remember too. So 10% referral for ad for bottom of newsletters and in post-purchase sequence.
So in my email, I don't really have it in newsletter. I just send a personal email. I didn't know if I need to work on that. Because I was watching the courses about email marketing. And a lot of it, mine is kind of like yours, where you send the whole body mostly.
Yeah.
You're talking to a friend.
For product, it's got to be more templated newsletter style.
Yeah.
And Canva has a lot of great ones, really easy ones.
That was my next thing I needed to update.
But Klaviyo has them too. So I do know that deliverability of the emails will be better if you build your newsletter template in Klaviyo directly. If you build it in Canva and move it over to Klaviyo or import it as an image, essentially, the deliverability does decrease a little bit, a little bit. It's not a ton, but it's So if you can build it in Klaviyo, great. If not, it could be in Canva.
So right now I use ConvertKit. Do I need to switch to Klaviyo?
Probably, yeah. ConvertKit's, I wouldn't say it's best practice for like e-com brands or product businesses. That's what I use, ConvertKit, but it's not really most suitable for a product.
Yeah, I had it like a long time ago, so I just kept it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But yeah, so I think we should move it over to Klaviyo. So move over to Klaviyo. And especially since the list is still small enough where it won't severely impact. The metrics aren't like massive, and the list isn't massive where the move will be impacted, or the list open rates and click-through rates will be severely impacted.
Okay.
So it's good. It's early enough that we can do that. And then, okay, so let's look at, 10% referral for bottom of newsletters and also in the post-purchase sequence. One thing I wanted to, before we even get into like the weeds of all the things you could do, I also want to pull this back and say something that helps me is looking at the full year, right? And then looking at what are, for your brand, having a promotional event every single quarter, right? So like Black Friday is in Q4. Q3 is going to be back to school for somebody. Your brand serves a lot of moms.
Yes.
So Q3 might be a back to school promo. Q2 will definitely be Mother's Day, right? And then Q1 is like New Year, fresh face. Right?
Okay.
So something like that. So mapping out like, what are my my quarterly promotional events? Like, what are the major events? And then we can build the entire content or marketing plan around those events, right? So if we know, okay, the next one is back to school, we're going to want to build, let's see, when is yours back to school? Because mine's different.
Like the middle of August.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We don't start till the second week of September.
Wow.
We don't end until the second, until like.
We get out like early May.
Yeah, no. Okay, so then it's so interesting how that's shifted. Okay, so you said middle of August?
Yeah, like August 17th.
Okay, so back to school. So there's two ways of looking at it, right? And I'm going to ask you on your expertise, knowing your target customer, right?
Right.
Would you say your target customer, the mom that you serve, is she more busy right before school, like the 2 weeks before school, or is she more busy the 2 weeks after school starts?
I would say probably before.
Before. Okay. So then
she's trying to get all the school supplies. She's making sure everything's together.
Okay, so let's get into the psychology of her. And you are in a way your target customer.
Yeah.
Are you, let's say you're getting back to school, the mom, would she be buying new products right before school starts? And here's how I'm thinking about it. Is she wanting to buy the products so that she can have a fresh new look for drop off? Or is she saving the money for supplies, or like using that money that she would use, like her discretionary spending, for supplies for her kids going into school, and then spending on herself after school begins? What do you think is more?
I would say supplies, and then she always thinks about herself last.
Okay, so then would you say, do you think it would make more sense to do the promo after she's back to school?
Yeah, because it gives her time to be like, okay, now we're back in routine.
Okay.
And she can think more clearly. I'm thinking about myself.
So then maybe we look at like doing it and what about Labor Day? What do you guys do about Labor Day? You guys?
Yeah, so a lot of people around here go to this stuff.
They go away?
Well, just around here to like.
Okay. So then.
Where they go camping.
So we don't want to do the week of September 1st. So maybe the week of August 25th might be a good weekend. So look at the week of August 25th. Look at the week of September 8th. And pick one. one of those weeks. See which week you think would be a better fit. Go back to your sales from last year and see when sales naturally went up. Was there a weekend? Was there between those 2 weeks? Which of those did you see a spike? Because we want to lean into that.
Right.
So if she's a
And I probably did try to do Labor Day, so because I used to would do on 4th of July, Labor Day sale, that kind of stuff.
yeah, how did that perform?
But every time I have a sale, I do pretty good.
Okay,
But somebody once told me, stop having all these sales because people are going to wait for you to have a sale.
that's true, and that is 1,000% true. That's why we only do sales 4 times a year. That is my
that
rule
makes
of
sense.
thumb. Like I would even say 4 is the absolute max, once a quarter.
Okay.
If that. If you're luxury premium, then we are reducing that down to 2 a year.
Okay.
In your case, I think 3 or 4 a year is good. So definitely Black Friday. Definitely, I would say like Mother's Day, right? Because you see a big spike there. You could skip like the Q1 one, or you could do Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. But let's just.
I will say I would feel like in the January, February time period, nobody's really buying anything.
So that could be a good time to do something to incentivize people. Okay, so knowing that, what I want you to do after this call, I want you to map out and literally put in the dates for each of the activation events, right? Or each of the promos. So you got Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Put it in for Q3 and Q4 because we're now in the second half of the year.
Okay.
Then what I like to do is I like to look at, okay, where are some activation events that we can put in each month as we prepare for the month ahead. So now we're in mid-June. But one thing you could do in every little micro moment that you're promoting something, I would say is an event, right? Like a little activation event, like something that activates your customers or potential customers, right?
Prepares them.
Yeah, something that gets them like it's a moment. It's a moment that like reminds them like, hey, you can get this, or you can do this, or you can. Here's why this is, why you need this right now. So the activation event for June, since while we're filming this, we're halfway through June. So really quick and easy, quick and dirty one would be sending an email being like, hey, did you know we have a referral program where you can get 10% off? So we're not doing a promo, but we are doing like a reminder, like in case you didn't know. And maybe the subject line, and you can play with this, is get 10% off when you share with a friend. Something simple. And then always do a resend on that emails. That's like a must.
What do you mean a resend?
A resend means like a resend to unopens. So ConvertKit, like it makes it super easy. I would send it out the following day, like a resend.
Okay.
When you send out an email, wait 24 hours and then go into that same email, resend to unopens, and just change the subject line.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that'll up just by doing that, which will take you like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
you'll increase your conversion, your click-through rate, and your open rate. So then just change.
Maybe this is why I personally get a lot of emails because I'm so bad at opening.
Okay. Well, most people are. That's why you have to send more.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you want to be sending 1 email a week, and
I'm doing 2 right now.
Okay, that's great.
I'm trying to do Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Beautiful. Okay, so Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do think the list is a little bit small. It might be a little bit small for that frequency right now.
Okay, so just do 1.
I would bump it down to 1 for now, just because it feels great that you're doing that. It just feels like maybe a lot for such a small audience. So we need to grow it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be the activation event for this month, right? And then I like to look at, at the end of the month, looking into July, what are some of those activation events or moments? So some other...
I think of 4th of July.
Yeah, so it could be 4th of July, like it could be something cute, like it could be an educational email around
Some makeup and things.
Yeah, or like my top 3 favorite products for 4th of July weekend and you send it out like a week in advance because you want people to have enough time to buy and get it shipped over to them. So that could be something 4th of July, like looks, or 4th of July, like 3 favorite products for 4th of July. Let's see. Going back to your results. Go ahead.
I was about to send an email that was going to be my next week one about like my top favorite swimmer products that I use.
Perfect. Great.
Okay.
That's a good one. So going back to like your survey results, where do you usually discover new brands? They said from a friend. So we want to leverage the referral program and really make sure people are using it because it does seem like people really love the brand and the product and they shout it from the rooftops. Yeah. So like maybe play with the incentive. If tests of 10% isn't working and you've shared it, I want you to share it on social. I want you to share it in stories. Like, hey, did you know we have this referral program? I want you to share it in email. And if you don't see it move the needle, then we have to look at the incentive. Like maybe 10% isn't enough of a needle mover. Maybe it needs to be a higher percentage, or maybe it's got to be a gift with purchase or something different that gets them to actually send the referral. So I would track that. I would track, okay, how many did they refer? You could do a week by week tracking where you just on spreadsheet simply marking how many times did someone refer someone, and work towards increasing that every month. Okay, so 2 was the number this month. Okay, next month I want it to be 5. What do I need to do to promote and get it to 5? Okay, let me send one more email about it.
Yeah, because I've never even like publicly said it that I have that. We just will send you an email after you purchase.
Yeah. So these changes, I think you'll see a little bit more usage. And if we don't, then we need to play with the incentive.
Yeah. And if friend makes sense, I work at a boutique where it sells it. And all the other workers, since it's a consignment store, and all the other workers say, your makeup sells the most yours. And the girls, there's people driving an hour to come buy it to get their hands on it.
This is what I mean, Leah. Like you're sitting on a gold mine and you don't even understand.
No, because I just douche all day.
Well, that's why we're here.
And I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, that's
you're helping a lot, but it does make me feel better that they're like, this girl came in to buy a router and she's just kind of telling me all about it. So I went to go buy it too.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how it's word of mouth, friend.
Exactly. Next month, something fun that we could do, or either for July or for August. You tell me, because I think like we want to be really strategic with this.
Yeah.
One of our founders, also, she's a C2C grad. She had these lip products and she had 20 of them. It was a very small amount and she was going to sell them for Valentine's Day. And I was like, this doesn't make sense to sell 20 products. It just doesn't make sense. What if we did a list building campaign or some kind of campaign to grow your audience with these 20 products? So we ended up creating this campaign for Valentine's Day where it was like, gift this, be a secret messenger or like a secret admirer. Send this to a friend with a note. And her company, her brand, sent so people applied to fill out a form, applied to be one of the people who would send a product to a friend. The company sent the products out to the friend with a note.
Okay.
And it was like the cutest thing because they would get the product, like totally new people who were not familiar with the brand, were not shopping from the brand, friends of.
And it's totally something different.
Yeah, and they got these products in the mail with a little note, like a love note from their friend that the brand sent on their behalf. Yeah. And it was just like, oh my God, I got this cute little gift. Now I'm going to start using this product. And my friend sent it. And it's just like a feel-good moment all around. And now you have, think about it. If you send 20 products and each of those gets sent to a new person, now you have 20 more new people.
That's true.
Using your brand, using your product. So I absolutely love this campaign. And I think you can do it for either July or for August. Pick a product. Maybe it's your bestseller. I probably would do like the bestseller. And
The only thing with the bestseller is it's a foundation, so you have to know your friend's color.
so then we pick something different.
You could do like blush or mascara.
Mascara is always a biggie, right?
Yeah, and that's my cheaper cost is the mascara. So would you charge them, I guess, obviously, to send it on to their friend?
Yeah, so they would like you're covering obviously cost of product. You're covering the shipping, right? So you're looking at, depending on what your cost of product is, let's just say as an example, the mascara costs $3 to make or $5 to make.
It's like $5.70.
Yeah, so there we go. So let's say it's $5, right? And shipping's another $5 or $8.
Yeah.
You're looking at a cost of $13 versus to acquire a new customer. And that's like warm people, right? Because it's a friend sending it to her friend. You're sending it on behalf of them, but it's warm. It's the warmest of leads versus if you're doing cold traffic through ads, you're looking at spending it could be a lot more expensive to acquire a new lead through ads than the $13 that it costs you to potentially get a new customer that's super warm.
So would you charge the person, like I charge $23 for mascara now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you charge them $23 or you're saying you give them a little discount to send them?
No, you're giving it for free.
Oh,
it's a cost of acquiring a lead.
I guess that's true.
So that's
for ads.
Correct. Yeah. So like most things are going to cost money to some degree, right?
Yeah.
There's always marketing costs, and trying to reach cold traffic is a lot more costly than warm traffic, right? Warm traffic is people that know you or have a sense of who you are. And so what this is doing is short-circuiting it and saying, I'm just going to go directly a friend of a friend or my customer. Yeah, and it'll cost you $13 because it's cost of product and cost of shipping.
Yes.
But you're going to get a large majority of the people that receive that product are going to rebuy with you.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can think of this as a lead gen campaign, right? Okay. And so you can decide, okay, am I willing to give away 30 products? Am I willing to give away 50 products?
So then you have a cutoff fee of how many products you do.
Yeah, exactly. So when you share this campaign with your email list and you send out a few emails about it and people apply to it, you will say in the email, hey, this is limited to the first 30 people or the first 50 people.
Okay.
In your case, your audience is small on email. So it might be just doing it to 30 for 30 people.
Okay.
And here's the other part. You're going to want to, on social, communicate to your audience that you're going to be doing this special giveaway or this special, a special giveaway, gifting giveaway, sent to an admirer giveaway, so that they get on your email list.
Okay. So they have to subscribe to get on what I'm going to be revealing or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why you have to work backwards, right? So you have to pick your date. Let's say your date is like the last week of July for unveiling this campaign via email. You'll want to promote getting on the email list the week before, right?
Oh, you know what I just thought? It's like mom not talking about school. Moms are always trying to figure out what's their teacher's gift, and like something
that's great
too. I don't know.
Perfect. No, that's great. That would be like another activation moment. It could be that, right? It could be like that we do this. It could be like a teacher appreciation campaign.
I wonder what week that is.
Yeah,
because there is an actual teacher.
Exactly, which would mean you're then having, rather than sending it to a friend, you're filling out the form, like your customer or your audience member is filling out the form, and then the product's getting sent from the brand to a teacher. Yeah, for teacher appreciation, like a teacher appreciation campaign. You could do it that way. Just think about it. Just think about if you want to do it one way or another. The other big thing is that once they receive the product, they're going to want you're going to want to share like in the little postcard that you send. So whatever you send, you want to have merch in there or like a postcard that the Haven by Leah postcard, and maybe it's a personalized note saying, "Hey, we'd love to have you share your gift, your appreciation gift on Instagram. Tag us, Haven by Leah." So that way you're getting multiple things out of this. You're getting warm leads, aware of your brand, aware of your products, using your products, and they're sharing your products to their audience through content. So it's like a win. So I find this to be a really nice and scrappy and easy way of getting new like eyeballs on your brand.
It's definitely different.
So that's one thing. That's one activation event that isn't, hey, we're percentage off, but it's more of a, what's the intent, right? It's a lead gen intent. So you typically, I wouldn't do it at September. We're reserving for your school. Exactly. So I would do it probably like July or like early August.
Okay. So coming up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or
I need to work on some postcards to deliver it.
Yeah. Do you have postcards for the brand?
No.
I would definitely. I feel like that should be pretty easy to put together. They should have a QR code. We can work on those in C2C for sure.
Okay.
Okay. So that's another thing based off of, again, going back to your survey results. That strategy is specifically tailored to your survey results because the number one way they're discovering new brands is through a friend, right? If we saw that TikTok was the number one way they were discovering new brands, we would have a completely different strategy.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a different question that I asked.
Yeah, the blues are really similar. So actually, and the other blue is also high, which is Instagram.
Okay.
And then the other highest one is red, which is Facebook. So talk to me about Facebook, because I know you sent me a note about Facebook being a big.
So I was looking through, when I was looking at sessions from social media, Facebook was like way out of the water.
Huh.
And then Instagram was way lower.
Okay.
But coming from the survey, I thought it was Instagram. But I did say it was closer to Facebook.
Yeah, it was very close. Depending on the question, they're very close. So then
it was like 400 people off Facebook in like the last 90 days.
Okay, so then do you have a Facebook group for the brand?
I started one and I'm really bad at getting on there. But it's kind of like I'm trying to do a community where I can answer any makeup questions they have. I give them tips on the makeup brushes I use. If they have any questions, these are other makeup products I like. I do a short. Sometimes I'll get on there and I'll get little stories of like how to do a quick look where I'm holding my daughter in the hand and I'm just doing makeup.
Okay, so then think about whether you have the capacity right now at 10 hours a week. I'm not saying you have to do this, but think about if that's like your chosen platform, right? Because clearly you probably don't have the bandwidth to do both, right? Facebook and Instagram. So think about if you want to choose one over the other.
So since we say Facebook, since it was like a clear winner on Shopify.
On Shopify, it was a clear winner. Then
Facebook.
Yeah, so then you would have a Facebook group, for example, where you would post content on a regular basis, but you would still kind of have to drive people to that group through Instagram.
Yeah, because they're connected.
Yeah. They're connected. Or you're posting original content to Facebook through your business page.
So it has a different algorithm if I upload it first on Facebook instead of Instagram, where it's just connected to the same business account.
I'm saying like there's a few different ways you can do it, and it's all dependent on bandwidth, right? So either you're doing both, right? So you're doing Instagram content, you're continuing to do regular, consistent content every week on Instagram, And then on top of that, you are also creating 1 or 2 extra pieces of content original to Facebook.
Okay.
Then on top of that, if you had more bandwidth, you would have a Facebook group. So you're driving your Instagram traffic and your Facebook business page traffic to a group, right? Like a private group, because they have to enter the group. So that's if you are doing like all of that. If you're the reduced version would be to have no original content on Facebook business page and just Instagram directly going to just repurposing right to Facebook, and then regularly inviting people to your Facebook group to join your Facebook group for a particular reason.
That sounds more doable for me.
Or the even more reduced version is you pick one. So either just do Facebook or just do Instagram. So the reduced version would be Facebook business page content directly driving people to the Facebook group, or Instagram content directly driving people to the Facebook group. That would be the even more reduced version.
Yeah. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to decide now, but
Okay.
just it's based on like your bandwidth, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You saw my message the other day. I was freaking out. I had a moment.
Yeah, so just think about it, but make a decision. Like, what are you committing to, and then commit to that. Based off your time, what am I going to commit to doing now that we know that Facebook is an actually big driver of traffic?
Yeah, and that really shocks me, honestly.
Yeah. So
I put all my focus on Instagram, and I'm getting like no new follows, no new. But I'll get like now my reels are reaching a lot more people.
yeah, I saw that.
And but then there's no followers from that.
Yeah, so then that might be something to look at too. If there's, are you tracking your followers every week? Like, where are you tracking them?
I just look up notifications, be like, oh, I know this is new because it hasn't been in a minute.
Okay, so I would have a spreadsheet. You have to, if you're, whatever marketing channel you're choosing and whatever strategy you're doing, you have to track it to understand if it's growing, right? And then have a goal. So if the goal is, okay, I want to reach, let's see, you have 644. So let's say the goal is 700. So you have to set the goal. So 700 or 650 or 700 by the end of June, right?
Yeah.
So then,
and Facebook is like over 1,000.
Yeah. So then you're working towards that goal. So everything you're doing is working to grow that to that 700 number. Another activation event you could do is like a giveaway, right? So you could do it really simply where it's just for follows, which I don't always love.
I've done that before, and that's what got me the 1,000 on Facebook.
Yeah. So that's something that you can implement. I like doing it for email because email is where you're getting the sales. The followers is just like a vanity number. But again, each strategy takes more time. So it's planning it all out. So every month you have to have an activation event. So maybe July you do that campaign we talked about where it's send to a friend, send a product or mascara to a friend. And then August is a giveaway, right? To grow your email list or to grow your followers. Like every month there's like a little activation event that's happening. And then in between that, so you have your activation event and then you're sending out content that's relevant to what's happening in that month. So like summer makeup, July is 4th of July, August is like getting ready for back to school, September and so forth.
Yeah, I need to really write this down like my content planner. Because right now I just go to ChatGPT and I'm like, this is what I'm going for this week of this theme.
Yeah, so that's why it's not necessarily growing as fast as you want it to. It has to be planned in advance. Like I said, break it down, at least look at the year in terms of like your promo events. Maybe you don't know every single month's like activation events yet, but at least have your major promo events blocked out on your calendar. What are the dates? What are the exact dates? Then we can look at, in this case, like month by month. So what are we doing for July? What are we doing for August? And what are we doing for September? Because those are the upcoming months. At least like you could do it by quarter, right?
Okay, yeah.
So 1 month, like next month is like that campaign we talked about. The following month is a giveaway. So we're always like And there's always the goal. What's the goal for the activation event? So is it number of leads? Is it sales? There's a goal that we're working towards. Is it followers? So what's
And every month you do it. Because I do need more referrals and I need followers.
Yeah, so you have to build leads or you build your audience in between promo events, because your promo events are sales events. So they need to you have to have new eyeballs for those if you want to increase your sales from the last promotion event. So in between each promo event, you're building your list.
Okay.
So that's how, so with these two things, the giveaway and the campaign we talked about, both of those are list building. And why are we list building for July and August? Because we're list building for September's sale event.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah?
Yeah, and also on our hot seat the other day when I said about giving away like the Loom video of advice about like their makeup and stuff. Is that an idea?
Totally. That was actually on my list. I was like, you would be perfect to do like have a console page on your website where it's fill out this form and I'll tell you exactly like what products are great for your skin tone, or how to create like what products are great to help treat your skin or that are great for your color.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I can see that.
Yeah, something like that. But that could be another activation. That's another moment where you can be like, hey, look what we have. We now have these consults that you can do. So now we're starting to build all these activation events into our calendar. So every month there's something like new that's not a discount.
That makes sense because we're so used to the discount.
Exactly. These are more, okay, great. Like now I can get a consult with Leah. I haven't been able to figure out what to buy. It's a no-brainer. And that's something that you can be promoting every month. Like every month there should be, just like the referral program, every month there's an email going out like, hey, did you know that you can get a consult with me? Fill out this form. Like a reminder. Right. You can also have it like right at the bottom of every newsletter. You can have
and say that it's a free consult, no charge.
Yep. But it's like how many times are you sharing it and where? So think about like, where can I share it? Post-purchase sequence. Can I share it? The welcome sequence would be perfect for that because people may not know that like they're just learning about you, learning about the brand. So like the welcome sequence would be a perfect spot for it.
And my target customer too is the woman who has no idea when it comes to makeup.
There you go. It's perfect. So it's great. Okay. So we've got the campaign, we've got the like campaign giveaway, consultation. The last idea that I was thinking, there's a couple more, but the last two are a freebie that's like ingredients to avoid in your makeup if you have sensitive skin, or 7 ingredients every sensitive skin girl should avoid in makeup. So doing some sort of a PDF download where that would be linked in your Instagram. It would be something that you can share and link in your Facebook group. It could be something that you share and link in your email list. And is like a way to get people to sign up.
Yeah.
Because that's your biggest problem. That's your customer's biggest problem. Is they have sensitive, reactive skin, and makeup has broken them out in the past.
Yes.
So that
and they don't have time.
Yeah, and they don't have time. But I would say that's almost secondary to the main problem, which is they have reactive skin, and all the products, like the makeup products they've been using, have been janky and bad for their skin.
And they don't like the kickiness.
Yes. So that's another like way that you can build your email list, and maybe you don't have time to create something like that. I don't think it would take you too much time, but it will take you maybe a little bit more time than some of these other ideas. But you can easily build it in Canva, create a PDF, a form to fill out on the page to sign up for it, to get it, and collect emails.
So would I have 2 different pages where one is to get like the PDF from me, and the other one would be like do like a Loom video of the consults?
Yeah, so those are 2 separate things.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Would I have 2 different pages, I guess, for it?
Yeah, so like the console, the console would be landing page.
Okay.
And then
but not on my actual website?
No, it wouldn't be. It would be on your website. It would just be like in the nav bar, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the PDF could either you could test it and replace it against your current pop-up. to see if it performs better than your current pop-up, because you have a pop-up with the like 10% off or something.
Yeah.
So if that's not working, do you know how well that's working? Are people like
Rarely.
Rarely? But yeah. So we could test.
I just think people are used to like seeing that on every website, 10% off.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, so that could be something like the PDF isn't, we could test that as a replacement for the pop-up. For the, like,
yeah,
the
that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I had was, and this would be once you have your consult page, you can run a simple like $5 to $10 lead gen ad to your consult page and to your quiz, because you have a quiz. And you could easily, so that you could do a lead gen ad to the quiz, which would be a lot less expensive than doing a conversion ad.
Okay. Yeah, I need to do something like that. I gotta get to the company because it keeps lagging and stuff. So I need to figure that out.
With the quiz, or?
Yeah, it's a new. They said it's in like a poster stage, and so some people it really works with, and some people it lags and it doesn't.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Well,
yeah, reach out to them. But what I want you to do, so action steps for you, is look at the year, look at the next quarter, and say, what are the activation moments that I'm going to have each month? And plug them in, and then work backwards. Once you have more time, you could build up to an activation event every week or every other week. And I'm not saying don't do that now, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's something, and it doesn't have to be huge. It could be micro, right? So the micro moment is like, we're doing a 2-day giveaway, right? Or we're doing, or it could be content driven, where it's, hey, like these are the top 5 products that I love that I swap out for summer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we can fill in the rest, but at least start there. And you'll have a lot more clarity on what am I even doing this month? What am I talking about this month?
Instead of just figuring out the whole board.
Yeah. I think it'll feel a lot better, and we'll certainly get you a lot more results. That's for sure.
Okay, good. And I think it'll help my sanity.
It'll help your sanity. And you'll know, okay, I have 2 hours this evening. This is what I'm working on. So, well, let me ask you, what will you do? What will be like the 3 steps you'll take now, like this week or like in the next week?
Probably switching over to Klaviyo.
Great. Okay.
I want to set up that form about like doing the consultation with me, because building pages on Shopify is easy to me.
Beautiful.
And so
great.
Doing something like that, and then maybe changing the pop-up.
Awesome. Great. Okay. So we've got our action items. And then what would you say was your biggest takeaway from today?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Just changing things up. And like the little giveaway or something new I would have never thought of.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. I love that little, it worked so beautifully when we've done it in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense when it says people are learning from their friends. When they said that, I almost thought, are they talking about like influencers or on whatever? But I guess it's more personal to them.
Yep. And it looks like, does it say like where do you usually buy your makeup or beauty products? Is the answer?
Yes. It was Ulta.
It was Ulta. Okay. So that actually gives us.
We were like a Walmart Target.
Yeah. So it gives us a good indication of the age of your customer, because Ulta skews younger than Sephora, for example. And it also gives me an indication that like they are not cost conscious, but a little bit more like products that are a little bit more accessible. So it makes sense.
Well, and it's a lot of them were people from my town. And that's probably like the closest than a Sephora accessible for them. And a lot of people around here are more cost conscious. So I think that's where that came in. Because there is people like, and I did it on my first survey of like what the age group was. And I'm trying to remember, it was like between 25 and 40, maybe.
Yep. That sounds about
This
right
majority.
for Ulta.
By the way, am I echoing?
No.
Okay, because on my end I am.
No, I don't hear any echo. Awesome. So you know what your next steps are, and we'll keep working on this inside C2C. And I just want to say thank you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. You make me feel so good when I talk to you.
Good. There's so much growth opportunity here. I think it's just breaking it down into little steps and knowing what am I working on this. Oh, and the other thing I want you to do is send out that referral email today or tomorrow, just saying, hey, did you know that we have this referral program? I don't think I would send it on a Friday though.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, I just didn't want to go with my second one this week.
So then send it next week.
Maybe next week.
Perfect.
Okay.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Leah. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, thanks to everyone for listening to the next episode of the Beauty and the Brand podcast. If you like this episode, definitely give us a thumbs up, give us a review, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.